Before we get started, I have a quick favor. I've been self-funding the Finding Genius podcast for 5 years now. I've done over 3,000 episodes. And as you can see on YouTube, we're up over 1 million views on the channel, which is fantastic. The next thing I really want to push on is to get up to 10,000 subscribers. Because once we do, we'll be able to put a donate button and we'll be able to solicit donations to help keep the podcast running and to also get the Finding Genius Foundation moving along. We have a big project studying anxiety, depression, and PTSD and working on a product to help people overcome these problems because I've seen them explode recently after the last 2 years of the whole virus situation. So if you would, please subscribe to the podcast. That would help us tremendously. Give us a thumbs up and check in the description for Buy Me a Coffee. It's about $5. If you could buy me a coffee, I'd really appreciate it. It would help keep the channel going, and I love coffee. Thank you.
So my background is in early stage consumer investing. I was on the venture capital team for BMW doing mobility investments and then joined a startup VC fund called Sinai Ventures. We invested about $100 million into 78 early stage primarily consumer companies while I was there. And the focus really was finding opportunities where we can cut out the middleman and go direct to consumer. Of course, over time, like any Botox treatment, that the efficacy wears off. Or you can wear a night guard. And the night guard doesn't stop the grinding or clenching, but it protects your teeth from the symptoms and the damage of it. And so it's just a little piece of plastic, right? If you've, played football or rugby, it's not so dissimilar to a sports guard. If you've had braces, it's not so dissimilar to a clear plastic retainer you would use after your treatment. And now there's, companies like Candid, which I invested in at Sinai Ventures, and others that are doing direct-to-consumer aligners, right? So braces that are clear plastic. Our product is similar to those, but the use case is specifically to wear overnight to protect your teeth from each other, from grinding against each other, from clenching against each other.
Increased stress is linked with teeth grinding and clenching, which causes poor sleep, jaw pain, and headaches. But did you know that 1 in every 4 adults grind or clench their teeth while they're sleeping? A Remi custom night guard can protect your teeth from grinding and clenching while saving you hundreds of dollars compared to getting one at the dental office. Use code GUARD20 for 20% off your order. Visit shopremi.com now. SHOPREMI.com.
Forget frequently asked questions.
Common sense, common knowledge, or Google.
How about advice from a real genius? 95% of people in any profession are good enough to be qualified and licensed. 5%
go above and beyond.
They become very good at what they do, but only
0.1%
are real geniuses. Richard Jacobs has made it his life's mission to find them for you. He hunts down and interviews geniuses in every field: sleep science, cancer, stem cells, ketogenic diets, and more. Here come the geniuses. This is the Finding Genius Podcast
with Richard Jacobs.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Finding Genius Podcast, now part of the Finding Genius Foundation. I have Oscar Adelman. He's the founder of a company called Remi, R-E-M-I. So we're going to talk about what Remi does and a bit about his background. The website is shopremi.com. So it's SHOPREMI.com. Oscar, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I meant what I said. Tell me a bit about your background and how you came to lead this company and what the company's about.
I'm happy to. So my background is in early stage consumer investing. I was on the venture capital team for BMW doing mobility investments and then joined a startup VC fund called Sinai Ventures. We invested about $100 million into 78 early stage, primarily consumer companies while I was there. And the focus really was finding opportunities where we can cut out the middleman and go direct to consumer. Now this is, several years on, something most folks are familiar with, right? And many of us have interacted with companies, like Warby Parker for glasses or Casper for mattresses, that really, cut out that middleman. So I was focused on that. And in a completely unrelated part of my life, at night, I grind my teeth. I've been doing it for about 10 years. And there's only a couple of solutions, and I promise I'll get to the story in a second. But for context, for those of you who don't grind your teeth, and about 25 to 40% of U.S. Americans do. But for those of you who don't already know, When you grind your teeth, it's a chronic condition, and it's caused by stress and anxiety. And there's really only two solutions. You can get Botox injected into your jaw. And of course, over time, like any Botox treatment, that the efficacy wears off. Or you can wear a night guard. And the night guard doesn't stop the grinding or clenching, but it protects your teeth from the symptoms and the damage of it. And so it's just a little piece of plastic, right? If you've, played, football or rugby, it's not so dissimilar to a, sports guard. If you've had braces, it's not so dissimilar to a clear plastic retainer you would use after your treatment. And now there's, companies like Candid, which I invested in at Sinai Ventures, and others that are doing direct-to-consumer aligners, right? So braces that are clear plastic. Our product is similar to those, but the use case is specifically to wear overnight to protect your teeth from each other, from grinding against each other, from clenching against each other. I was at the dentist getting my 8th night guard in about 10 years. And I'm a little embarrassed to admit that, but now having been in the industry, I realize how common it is to lose these. It's just a little piece of plastic, right? So when you have it on your nightstand, it's easy to forget about. It's easy to lose while you travel. Dogs love to chew these things up like toys.
I bet you there's like thousands of them like behind or below people's nightstands all over the place.
Oh my gosh, totally. In fact, we were playing around with a marketing idea. We haven't taken advantage of it yet, but some sort of night guard gremlin, some elf or monster that lives under your bed that in the morning when you take out your night guard, it steals it from your nightstand. It really does feel like that for, folks who are trying to keep up with these things and have a busy, active lifestyle. I was traveling a lot for work, so, I kept losing these. And I'd switched dental insurance providers, not that dental insurance covers this because it's considered, preventative, but I'd switched dental insurance. So I had to switch dentists. And here in San Francisco, there's a building, 450 Sutter Street, that is just full of dental offices. And so I moved from, I think it was suite 1406, one doctor, to suite 1206, another doc. Same number of dentists, same number of hygienists, same square foot office, right? So very similar business. And my new dentist wanted to charge me $650. My old one was charging me $450. And I said, hey, what gives? Don't tell me some story about how your overhead and this and that and the other thing, because the guy directly upstairs is charging $200 less than you. And I never really got a good answer for that, Richard, but it was the catalyst conversation for doing research and going down this rabbit hole, if you will. I called about 75 dental offices over the course of a few days after that. And I won't spoil the whole story for you, but to come full circle back to your question of, my background and how all this got started, I realized this is one of those perfect opportunities where there's a middleman, in this case, the dental office, that doesn't add any value to the process. In fact, they actually slow it down, but they're taking most of the margin. And the customer at the end of the day is the one that pays an inflated price. And I was the customer, and I didn't want to continue paying an inflated price for the rest of my life. So I started Remi so that myself and others could get a comfortable, affordable night guard.
Okay. Do these, one idea that came to me, I don't know if you're doing this already, and forgive me if you are, but I pictured, someone waking up, taking it out and putting it into like a little device that cleans it all day while you're running around. And then at night it's ready for you to put back in. I would think you guys have that, but maybe that would solve the problem of getting lost.
You're spoiling a product launch that's about 2 weeks out, Richard.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. If we were having this conversation a couple of weeks later than we are now, I'd be telling you all about the new Remi ultrasonic cleaner. And I think it's going to be a very popular product. But yes, these guards are in your mouth all night, every night. And not only do they take a beating, they also get gross. And so
Remi night guards are designed for comfort. Remi sends you an at-home impression kit and has a team of in-house dental professionals to make you custom, comfortable night guards that you'll forget you're wearing, all for 80% less than the cost at the dental office. Visit shopremi.com to get yours now and take an extra 20% off your order with the code GUARD20 at checkout. Remember, that's SHOPREMI.com.
Another idea too, and again, forgive me, but putting it in a cleaner is great, but what if you also have you put it in a solution that when you put it on your teeth, it also helps your teeth with, whitening or other, dental health type activities. Like, there's a material that would sit on the outside of the plastic or surrounding it. You're putting it in your mouth. Now it's in contact with your teeth for X number of hours. Maybe it can help you while you sleep.
Yeah, we've got that too. And that is live, and that's a very popular accessory or very popular add-on product for, I think, actually more than 50% of our customers now are using it. It's a dual action foam that you pump a couple pumps into your guards right before you put them in. And it keeps them clean, smelling nice, minty fresh, but also doubles as a low potency teeth whitening agent. And so because of the longer exposure time, because you're wearing it for 7-8 hours instead of 15 minutes with something like a Crest whitening strip, and the formula that we use is far less potent. It doesn't have so many of the harsh chemicals in it, so it doesn't cause the sensitivity that many of us associate with teeth whitening. But because of the longer exposure time, you end up getting just as actually whiter teeth. It's an advantage that us teeth grinders get over the rest of the folks, and we're wearing it anyway, so we might as well have teeth whitening at the same time.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, so please continue on. So you'll put it in all night, you get up, you take it out, etc. What it acts as a barrier to people, making tooth to tooth contact and grinding? Like, what is the problem with grinding your teeth besides, I'm sure, like muscle pain, stiffness, overuse, but the actual grinding of tooth upon tooth, what is that doing to you negatively?
Yeah. Teeth grinding and clenching is interesting because there really is a spectrum, right? And you get folks who, only grind in very high stress situations, say the night before a big presentation. You have other folks who grind so heavy that they're, popping off crowns and chipping and even fracturing teeth. Most folks, of course, are somewhere in the middle. And that goes for both grinding and for clenching. The symptoms vary. Migraines in the morning, a sore jaw, a bad night's sleep, those are extremely common. Then there are the short-term severe damage issues, like I mentioned, chipping teeth and causing dental damage. And then there's the long-term repercussions, both the physical part of it, which is you're grinding your teeth down, right? So you're losing your enamel, which not only affects, your teeth and your bite, but also your ability to protect yourself from cavities and from teeth sensitivity. And then, of course, you've got the mental health portion of this too, right? If you're getting a bad night's sleep every night for months or years, that really does take a toll on your entire body. And one of the things that I really love about Remi, about the company that we've started here, is that, we're selling a better mousetrap, right? We're selling a night guard that is more comfortable, more convenient because you don't need to leave home in order to get it. You don't have to go to the dentist's office, and far more affordable. But we're also selling a product that our customers truly need. I always joke the marketing of this product is actually pretty easy. You just have to get it in front of people because it is more of a need to have than a want to have for most folks. And as a result, we get feedback from our customers every single day about how, Remi night guards have positively affected their life. We have some funny ones. And by the way, we print them and hang many of them up on the walls in our office. And there's some funny ones like, thank you for the first time in 6 years. I'm able to sleep in the same bed as my husband.
Nice.
The teeth grinding is no longer, making sounds and bothering me all night. We get ones from folks who, are truly in a distraught situation before using Remi because they couldn't afford a night guard, but started to have the symptoms, the repercussions of not using one. The cool thing about where we sit in the market, Richard, is that we get to provide the same quality, the fully custom professional fit that you would get from the dentist office, but we're selling it at a price point that's much closer to what you would buy, say, a football or a rugby guard at Walmart from, right? Those Boyle and Bite sports guards. And so we get customers who use this instead of paying 5 times the amount from the dentist. And we get customers who use this because it's finally something that's affordable enough to upgrade from, wearing a football guard every night to bed. And so the feedback that we get is really very interesting. It's across the spectrum. There's a lot of diversity and variety in it.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
But
what is some feedback that like surprised you in a good way? What was said?
It surprises me how long people put up with sleeping with a football guard. I have had the opportunity to speak with customers who, for the better part of their life, have had a bulky boil and bite football guard in their mouth every night when they go to sleep. And to be able to go from that to a custom guard, there's just no going back. I mean, it's just night and day. It's so much less intrusive and more comfortable. I was very fortunate because, like I mentioned, I was on my 8th custom night guard at the time. And while, I've used boil and bites in emergencies on trips in the past, in the majority of my life, I've been using a professional, custom fitted guard. And so to hear from folks who have not had that opportunity, and this is the first time in decades where they've really been able to go to sleep in a comfortable way, I didn't quite expect that. I knew we would win compared to the dental office. I didn't realize how many customers were going to come to us using this as a substitute for a football guard.
Okay. So you said you talked quite a bit about pricing. You said that I guess out in the marketplace, these guards are like $450 to $650. Since you spoke about price, if it's all right, what price do they come in at approximately for yours? What's the range?
Sure. So the first time that you order Remi, you get a set of guards. If you already know that you like top guards or bottom guards, we'll send you 2 tops or 2 bottoms. If you're not sure, we'll send you a top and a bottom. All right. So every order comes with 2. We do that because many people don't really know what their preference is. So this is a great opportunity to sleep with each one and really decide. And we charge $129 with the Remi Club for that first time. The way it works is you order on our site. We send you an at-home impression kit. That impression kit is custom designed. It's not over-the-shelf stuff. We've designed it in a way so that it's focused on accuracy. And much of what is out there, especially used in dental offices, is focused on cost. And we've really focused ours on accuracy. And so you use one tray, you bite down like you're biting into a sandwich. It captures your top and bottom teeth at the same time. We include 2 sets of everything. And so you do the first set, you follow the instructions, you watch the video, you snap a picture, you send it via email to our team. We have 24/7 feedback on those impressions. You get a reply, hey, that impression looks good, but maybe next time put a little more putty towards your back right molar, right? And then you've got another set in that box. So you take it out, you do it again based on that feedback, and then you put everything into a prepaid label envelope and you send it to our lab. We have dental professionals here who are making the guards just like the lab would for a dental office. And then we send it back to you. So you get to do the whole process without having to leave home, and you do it for $129 for 2 night guards. Most of customers then join the Remi Club subscription, which is free to join. And it allows us to keep those impressions on file. So theoretically, right, unless you get major dental work done, you never have to do those impressions again. We'll keep them forever. And we do that because, we're taking a 3D scan of it, right? This is something that no dental office is able to provide because this just isn't their core business. And so we use those saved impressions, and we can send you 2 more night guards every 6 months for $49. So it comes out to about $100 a year for 4 night guards. And we do that because once you have had the experience, the luxury of putting in a fresh night guard, the best analog that I can think of, and it's not even a great one, is that first shave after, putting in a new razor blade. It's just so much better than the rest, right? And you can always tell. And so for us, sending you 4 night guards for $100 a year allows you every 3 months to swap it out. It means you don't have to worry about it getting beat up or worn down. You don't have to worry about holes developing in it. You don't really have to worry about it getting too gross, and because you always have a fresh one there, on your nightstand ready to go.
One good thing you mentioned is if someone gets 2 and they lose one, it falls on the floor, the dog chews it, et cetera, something happens, they can just, they don't have to wait and reorder and, have a whole week of grinding their teeth while they're waiting for the new one to come in. If they got an extra one on hand, they're ready to go.
Absolutely. It's great to have that backup. We hear people, travel with one, keep the other at home, people divide it up between, different places that they're staying. There's a lot of good reasons why you would want to have more than one. And there's a lot of good reasons why you would want to swap them out frequently, like you do your toothbrush, right? I always, we have customers who sometimes say, well, I've been using the same guard for a few years. It's nasty as anything, right? But it's still technically protecting my teeth. Can you explain to me why I would want my night guards, delivered every 6 months? And my response is always, you could also use the same toothbrush for 4 years if you'd like. It's likely not what is recommended, and it's likely not your preference once you're exposed to being able to swap out your toothbrush head every few months. You know the difference.
Yeah. You should tell them they can wear the same pair of underwear for 4 years, but that wouldn't be good either.
Exactly. There are people who do it, right? And
I know.
Power to them, but that's not what the majority of folks want.
I had a friend in college that didn't change his sheets for like 4 years. It was a problem, but,
they changed color over time, just like Nike.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You start with a nice white and it ends up being kind of yellow-orange.
Black, yeah. Interesting. So some people only would have one guard and some have two. What's the difference? Like, why would someone need a lower one only or an upper one only or both?
It's really preference. There's not a lot of science behind this. About 10 years ago, when I first started grinding my teeth, I went to the dentist and he said, we're going to give you a top guard. And I didn't know any better. I'd never worn a night guard before. So just, I trusted him and I nodded my head yes. And every night guard after that was always a top night guard because they were replacing one that I already had. They said, well, what do you normally wear? And I said, I have a top night guard, right? That's kind of who I was, right? It was assigned to me. And then when I started Remi, obviously, I get unlimited night guards, one of the perks of being a founder. And I tested out some bottom night guards and I was like, oh my God, this is way better. I don't know why I've been using a top night guard for 10 years. And we have a lot of folks who have that type of reaction. So to answer your question, you only need to wear one, either a top or a bottom. The first time, our default is to send you both, unless you already know what your preference is. After that, most folks will choose either two tops or two bottoms, and most folks only wear one or the other. And the nice thing about having both, of course, is that you can then use it to whiten your teeth. And so that's another advantage to getting the top and the bottom on your first go around.
Well, what do people have trouble with top versus bottom? Like, I would guess, I know there's a product called like Snore RX, and it's this big mouth guard you put in, but I remember, it makes it hard to breathe, and some people feel claustrophobic, and and all that stuff. So I guess using one guard instead of two leaves more room in the mouth where you wouldn't have that problem, and also your jaw is not held open. But what are any other nuances between top and bottom, and any insights?
It really does come down to personal preference, Richard. It's just one of those things, right? Do you like a hard pillow or a soft pillow, or a mattress or a soft mattress, right? Everybody's got little preferences in life. This is one of those things. I think the important thing is that you take a few nights with each and then make your decision based off of your data, right? Your actual sleep. What do you prefer? Not what do you think you prefer or what's been assigned to you, but after trying both, what do you actually prefer? And again, when I think about these positive comments that are posted all over the walls in our office, there's plenty of feedback about that, right? That, gosh, I love being able to decide which one to wear. And then I loved having the backup, and I loved being able to, use my spare to whiten my teeth. And it's really interesting to hear. It's just not something you would ever get through a dental office because, who in their right mind would pay another $500 just to test it out, right? I mean, but if it's included and the opportunity is there, it really is, it's optimal.
Okay, that makes sense. So any other nuances or new ideas coming? Like, are there any other things that you're going to, impregnate the mouth guards with? Or are there other form factors or, special, like for children, do you have them, or just for adults? For people that have, let's say, a narrow palate,
Sure.
high palette, the different shapes, etc.?
Sure. So, the nice thing about it being fully custom for your teeth is that, the shape, the size, it doesn't matter as much, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all fully custom made for you based off of the impressions from your teeth. So wide palate, narrow palate, that stuff doesn't really matter. What we have done is we now have 3 different thickness options that you can choose from, and you just select it, free of charge on this card that comes in your impression kit. And you can change it for future orders if you'd like by just sending us an email. But we give people the option 1 millimeter, 1.3 millimeters, or 2 millimeters. So if you're a heavy grinder, maybe you go for the 2. If you're a light grinder, you're not sure, you could go for the 1 or the 1.3. So that's one thing we've innovated on that, you simply wouldn't get through the dental office or through wearing a boil and bite football guard from Walmart. The other thing that we've got is colors. Surprisingly, and I still struggle to fully understand this, people love wearing a pink or a blue or a green night guard to bed. It's personality, right? It's the same reason that people dye their hair or paint their nails or, choose to wear bright colored shirts.
Right.
So we're offering that as well. And there's a bunch of really cool accessories and complements coming down the turnpike. But, when I think of the long-term vision, Richard, for Remi, for the company, we are not called the direct-to-consumer Night Guard Inc. We are called Remi. And really what that comes from is the word remedy. Because my vision for this company is really to offer remedies for pain points in people's lives, right? How can we make remedies affordable, convenient, comfortable? And so we've started branching out a little bit already. We now have a balm, the first FDA approved balm, almost like a tiger balm, if you're familiar, an icy hot, if you will,
right.
that you can rub on your jaw when you are having jaw pain for folks with TMJ disorder. And there's a correlation, of course, between TMJ disorder and grinding your teeth. So it's not a far stretch, and it's been really popular with many of our night guard wearers. So it's not a completely different remedy, but it is a different type of remedy for a similar problem, right? And to be able to use this. And so as we expand our product line, it's not just about, how do we make better night guards, though we're doing that already. It's also that how do we come up with remedies to other pain points in your life, and how do we make those remedies affordable, convenient, and comfortable?
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. In terms of pricing and specials, you have a special going on right now, or people should just go to the website to order? Like, where can they take action from this point?
Yeah, that's actually a great point. So I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to share a special promotion for folks listening to the podcast today.
That would be terrible. No,
so the promo code is Genius25. And for folks who are listening and use Genius25 during the checkout process at shopremi.com, and that'll be 25% off of your whole order. And, we're really excited to see what type of feedback we get from Finding Genius listeners.
Okay, that's excellent. Yeah, Oscar, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for the time.
Before you go, make sure to protect your smile from teeth grinding and clenching with a Remi custom night guard. Visit shopremi.com to get yours now and take an extra 20% off your order with the code GUARD20 at checkout.
You've been listening to the Finding Genius podcast with Richard Jacobs. If you like what you hear, be sure to review and subscribe to the Finding Genius podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And want to be smarter than everybody else? Become a premium member at findinggeniuspodcast.com. This podcast is for information only. No advice of any kind is being given. Any action you take or don't take as a result of listening is your sole responsibility. Consult professionals when advice is needed.